Jennifer Malone,
Here.
Marcela Jimenez Ramirez, Lama Alfasi,
Here.
Okay, first item on the agenda is public comment. Is there anyone, I guess, in person first that wants to speak to public comment? Anyone online? I see none. We'll close public comment. We just had another member come into the room.
Marcela Jimenez, DOH Hillsborough present. Sorry I'm late.
It's okay.
thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda after public comment is approval of the minutes. Are there any questions or any comments about the minutes from the last meeting? I'm sure everybody read them in detail. All right. We have a motion.
Jay Collins, motion to approve minutes.
Second the motion.
Okay. Motion by Jay, second by Bob. Any other questions? Being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next is the action items. First action item is tip amendments. And Elizabeth will be presenting.
Good afternoon, TAC. There are two transportation improvement program amendments for your consideration. They're both intersection improvements. One, State Route 39 and Tracknell Road and near Plant City, as well as State Route 674, Sun City Center, east of 27th Street, southeast in the South End. So the first project, and that's State Route 39, Tracknell Road, that is going to be one of those projects that DOT does to harden the intersection. So essentially, they're going to be reconstructing the intersection. Instead of using asphalt, they'll be using concrete, which makes it have a longer service life and less disruptions for whenever any maintenance is needed. Additionally, in the scope of the project will be additional lighting, some signal upgrades, and FDOT is expecting construction to start on this project in the fall. This is just an example of another intersection hardening project that DOT has done before from US 301 at Bloomingdale Avenue. Again, this technology is chosen for this intersection because it's less frequent rehabilitation, so less disruption to drivers, as well as DOT has a statewide goal to harden different intersections because they've seen that this has been a proven treatment over the years. So something that the central office all the way down to the district is really focused on for intersections that make sense to do the rigid pavement. So about $2 million is being added to this project, which is already in the TIP. Most of that cost increase is due to adding the signal upgrades. But as we're all kind of seeing throughout the industry, there have been overruns just given where cost estimates are coming in. The last project is 674 at 27th Street Southeast in Ruskin. As you'll recall, this is near the site of the new Moffitt Center in South County, which I think will open in the next month or two. So this project will be adding traffic signals, crosswalk improvements, and lighting. And specifically, is being added to the TIP to add design in 2025, but construction is not shown on the TIP page, but will be in the next tentative work program for 2026. So DOT is looking to implement this project quickly. So that is really what's changing with the TIP. It's being added to do the design for those intersection improvements. So the recommended action before you today is to recommend that the TPO board approve these amendments. But I'd be happy to answer any questions or take any comments that you have.
Okay, any questions? I have a couple things I'll say. Or one's a question, one's just, I believe the Moffett is open just as of the last week or so.
Okay.
So this would be nice for them and make their access a little bit better. I have a question though about the concrete projects. Is there some criteria that DOT uses to determine where they're gonna do those? Is it like rutting, or what would?
That is certainly a factor. So when I asked the project manager, they said, pavement performance, running, overall condition, truck traffic. So if there's a lot of semi trucks going through the area, a lot of use, that is also an indicator, as well as traffic control impacts. So at a high level, it's the three things that they use to identify when, rigid pavement is appropriate.
Any other questions? Okay, we have a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve both the amendments. That's a question.
Motion from Bob, second.
Second, Jesus.
Jesus, seconded. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carries unanimously. Thank you. Next up is the 2020, or excuse me, 2030 LRT amendments. And Wade, presenting those.
Good afternoon, TAC members, Mr. Chair.
Wade,
These are two series of amendments, one from FDOT and one from Florida's Turnpike Enterprise, which I will go through with you. So there are two requests. The first from FDOT District 7 is to add Branch Boards and McIntosh Road from south of US 92 to north of I-4. These would each be to widen from 2 to 4 lanes and are largely related to the entrance and exiting off of the interstate there, related to interchange projects as well. And there will be more on this to come in a moment. Florida's Turnpike Enterprise requests. This is to add a widening from on the Veterans Expressway from Hillsborough Ave to Waters Ave / Anderson Road. That is to add 2 lanes there. And then Veterans Expressway interchange modifications at Hillsborough and Anderson, which are partially related to that widening, and also at Wilski and Linebaugh Ave. This will also update the right-of-way cost estimate for the existing widening project in the LRTP that goes from Van Dyke Road to the Pasco County line. I believe it's an increase of $700,000, so a minor increase for the overall size of that project. We looked at the performance of these projects as we had in the LRTP related to, or in the major projects needs assessment for the LRTP. The Veterans Expressway from Hillsborough to Anderson came in at 16 out of 46 projects. The Branch Boards and McIntosh Roads, which we tested together in the model, came in at 26 out of 46 projects there. The Turnpike Enterprise also has a statewide ranking of all of their projects. The widening project is 39 out of 52 widening projects. And then the interchange projects are respectively 18th out of 147, 52nd out of 147, 37th out of 147, and 40th out of 147. So they're all close in that top third of, well, with the exception of Anderson there, the top third of projects for the Turnpike Enterprise. So for cost balancing, in the LRTP, it is required, it does have to be cost feasible. So Florida's Turnpike Enterprise is self-funded through tolls, so we don't have to do any additional cost balancing there because they are self-funding and it doesn't come away from any other district projects or local projects. But for Branch Boards Road and McIntosh Roads, funding must be made available by moving projects of equivalent cost from cost feasible to the unfunded needs list. So, to add them into the non-CIS highway projects, we have a recommendation of reallocating PD&E funding and preliminary engineering funding for the State Road 574 and Martin Luther King widening from McIntosh Road to Turkey Creek Road, and applying that to design / PE for Branch Forks and McIntosh roads. I'll expand on that a little bit more. There were some other projects that performed a little bit better than this. US 92 from Branch Forks Road to Park Road in Plant City had a little lower volume. But that project, as well as the connections from US 92 to I-4, are all connected from the Polk County line to back into the city of Tampa, where US 92 widens up again. So to remove one of those sort of causes a domino effect. And State Road 574 MLK is not going to be far enough along in the next 5 years for this to impact FDOT's ongoing work program efforts. So for public notice, we sent out a little over 300 letters to properties within 500 feet of these projects. I placed 12 roadside signs. And we ran newspaper ads in the Tampa Bay Times, La Gaceta, and the Florida Sentinel Bulletin. As far as the presentation schedule, we are here today, February 3rd. On Wednesday, I will be taking this before the Citizens Advisory Committee, and this will go to the board on February 12th at 10 a.m. It is a public hearing. As we typically do for the TIP adoption, this will be a public hearing and is advertised as such. Just to go through these project locations a little bit, starting at the top, the Van Dyke Road that is getting another $700K added to it, or sorry, veterans from Van Dyke Road to Pasco County. Then the interchanges at Milsky, Linebaugh, Anderson, and Hillsborough. And then you can see the widening project between Hillsborough and Anderson there as well. And then on the right of the screen, we have McIntosh Road and Branch Forks Road, those small segments, just about a mile each between 92 and I-4. So staff's recommended action is that the committee recommend that the TPO approve the amendments to the Access 2050 LRTP, which will add Branch Forks Road and McIntosh Road widenings from US 92 to I-4. Veterans Expressway widening from Hillsborough Avenue to Waters Ave / Anderson Road. The interchange modifications on the veterans at Hillsborough, Anderson, Linebaugh, and Wilson. And update the right-of-way face costs estimate for the Veterans Expressway from Van Dyke Road to the Pasco County line. And balance the costs by moving State Road 574 / MLK Boulevard widening from McIntosh to Turkey Creek Road to the unfunded non-CIS needs as identified in the SNAP analysis. And with that, if there are any questions or discussion, I'm happy to do my presentation.
All right, thank you, Wade. Any questions? Anyone? Quiet today. Okay. I don't have any. Do we have a motion?
This is Jay Collins, make a motion to approve the 2050 LRTP amendment.
Jonathan Scott, second. Okay. Jay had the motion, Jonathan had the second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you all for your consideration.
Okay, next up is the status report. And that's on the Advanced Transportation Technology and Innovation Grant Initiative section. Raphael. Speak on this.
Hey everyone, Raphael with the Hills, and I'm an associate at the Hillsborough County Traffic Management Center. And I'm here to provide a quick update on the status of the attain and the intentions behind it. Again, the project overview is to enhance safety and technology in all these corridors. Through the planning phase, we selected this critical 6 locations, 6 corridors that are best used for traffic incident management. And by doing so, it'll greatly, improve the message and the safety of it. Again, it's a 3.9 million, with a county match of $987,000. Covering, around 43 miles, 75 intersections. And main intention is to upgrade. In order to get the technology part of it, we found that we needed to, again, enhance what we have out there in the field, which again, we calculated about 55 brand new traffic signal cabinets, 70 ATC controllers, 30 locations with new non-intrusive microwave detection or video detection is called non-intrusive. And we're also working on the smart school bus safety part of it the project goals is to provide priority to school buses. Right now, the only stakeholder that has priority at the traffic signal level is HART. And we are decommissioning the system with a new project that we are working with with the HART team. So again, enhancing all the technology, and by the end, also tying in the work zone data information that we have from the temporary traffic control permits. So again, this is a concept of what we're trying to do. New cabinet, controllers, unintrusive detection, signal priority, and also with the onboard cameras. We're also trying to leverage that technology and provide the stop arm activated notification through the connected vehicle portion. Right now, we are at the stage, as you can see on the left side, where we have, we provide through the county website, the current status of all the temporary traffic control permits, right? And we're trying to provide that and link that information utilizing the WCDX schema format, which matches the real-time communication side of things, which again come from the FHWA. So that initiative is ongoing, and we're just trying to add more to what we already have, right? So allowing us to connect the work zone data, connected messages, providing priority. And again, we can't get there if we don't upgrade the infrastructure. So we requested also the cabinets. So major work, again, going back to any locations, 301, 41, Falkenberg, the Terrace, 56th Street, and Shell. That's all I have for now.
Okay, any questions?
Questions?
Jesus, go ahead, Jesus.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. I appreciate it. I had a follow-up. You mentioned that the transit signal priority you have right now, it's only for hard bus. And you mentioned you're gonna upgrade it and it's gonna include school bus. Did I get that right?
So right now, the system that we were using for many years is a legacy system that we are decommissioning. We have another initiative that we've been in the work for about 2 years, which again, is still deploying and kind of more information on that one soon. But the intention behind that initiative was to be able to tackle both priority and preemption through that same system. So we already work with the priority. We know that system can provide us that, but we solely focus on the preemption. Now, the hard system is SCADA and it'll have to be either integrated to our technology or again, to the deal and see how we can incorporate hard. This award was focused on providing the school buses priority based on selected intersections, mainly selected schools, right? From the Israel County Public School System.
Okay, thank you. Well, let me know. I want to be part of that conversation for sure. So thank you.
Right?
Yeah, I'm just curious to know when this is started.
So right now, we're still in conversations with FDOT and FHWA So again, it's still on hold, obviously, the politics putting on hold the grants, but again, we still waiting on the call. We still move forward with, progressing the project and making sure that we have everything, aligned before we, we're, going into the construction. But no major information as of today. Okay.
And then my second question was just about, you mentioned HARP being one of the priority of the school buses. How does this impact the fire departments?
So the fire departments are, what we're doing with them is we're installing an OBU, an onboard unit at every major apparatus. And we are going from the south end of the county. Right now, we're at the Del Mabry area, finishing up the implementation. And it's providing preemption to all the traffic signals from every approach. So we have a selected, amount of apparatuses that are actually currently utilizing the system. And again, it's a new initiative. It's been in the work for the past 2 years. More information to come, but yes, we're about to finish it and focusing on just preemption for now.
Preemption as opposed to priority, right?
Preemption as opposed to priority. Yes, we have some limitations.
The preemption being, and I'll
Yep.
make sure, tell me if I was wrong, but when the fire trucks are approaching, they get the green light. It'll turn the side streets red and it changes automatically. Priority doesn't work quite the same. In other words, it's a priority and it's higher than their regular cycle of the signal, but it's not going to turn the light green immediately when say the art bus or school buses.
Yes.
Say that.
No, that's perfect. Yeah, preemption is a hard stuff. It'll provide that way ahead of time. We provide that apparatus, enough time to flush the traffic in front of them. Depending on whichever route we take, in this case being GPS, they turn left, all the signals downstream will start hitting the preemption and blocking all the other approaches that step from that approach where the fire truck is coming through. The priority, as he stated, it doesn't put a full hold on everyone, but it'll trying to keep the coordination as we have intended. And it only start the coordination or the green a little bit earlier or extend the green if it's still receive the signal, right, from that onboard unit at, in this case, hard bus, right? So if the hard bus is coming through that corridor, it'll extend or release the green a little bit early to provide them enough time to go through with
Curiosity, what was the criteria for selecting these 6 locations?
The main criteria was the traffic incident management. Because we are the one in need of enhancing the technology in all these corridors. There's a bunch of combined situations in these corridors where we have all cabinets and we decide to put a brand new computer, brand new controller. The controller cannot give us the entire information that we are trying to, in this case, ATSPMs, and try to grab more information from the controller because the cabinet limitation, right? So we have some limitations at the cabinet level, some issues with vehicle detection systems failure. We have a lot of failure alarms in a lot of places where, again, they're just serving with nobody because the vehicle detection system, in this case, being probably a loop or a bad video, bad camera, bad again, most of the time it's intrusive, which is in the field. They're just failing. So we found that, this location will benefit from adding this technology to improve the performance of the corridor.
Do you think maybe the area close to UNCF, like the ACDC area, maybe they would benefit as well?
Yeah, that's what we selected 56. So we were limited to a specific amount of budget, so we had to be conscious about where they would apply this technology. So in this case, Sheldon, which allows us to push traffic from the west part of the county, 56 next to USF, and also that connects to 875. Falkenberg is just an alternate route for 75 incidents. Same with I-4. When we have made closures on I-4 and they shut down because there was a fatality, people tend to take, Falkenberg 301 and US 41. That's major detour routes.
Hey, Jen,
Yeah, does the technology have any bells and whistles for the US 301 trail?
I'm not totally informed where is the trail.
Yeah, there's a side path trail for US 301, goes pretty much almost all of what you have up there. So I was just wondering again if it has any kind of priority for pedestrian, allowing that opportunity to move across traffic before that you have the vehicles moving. You know, like we have in downtown Tampa, where you can walk across the street, where you get a pedestrian gets a green light 5 seconds, 10 seconds before, things such as
Well,
that.
that's different. That's
Right.
a different configuration.
Yeah.
Something that we are doing it, selected places called LPI, Leading Pedestrian Interval, and has nothing to do with this. It's more of a programming with the controller.
Mhm.
What we're trying to do here is, again, if that, trail has an signalized intersection and falls within this, project boundaries, we'll definitely include anything that we can to, enhance the safety.
Yeah, I just mentioned it because you had talked about the schools and part of the priority was making sure that you had the school buses and everything.
Yeah.
A lot of kids on 301 moving up and down, so yeah.
any other questions? Okay, it's a non-voting item, right? So thank you for coming in and giving us, explaining all this. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. Thank you.
Okay, next is old and new business. Any old and new business?
I have one item.
Just new or old?
It's old, so I guess I'll wait.
Okay.
I circulated a TAC member survey. Thank you to those who have responded. I'll resend it out. The deadline to respond is Friday. We really appreciate your feedback. And then I'll present the results on next meeting in March to talk about any changes you may want to see with this committee.
Jennifer Malone, just if you haven't taken the survey already, it takes literally 5 seconds. So that's just a little plug for Elizabeth. So hopefully she gets responses. So I just took it and I was done in less than 5 minutes.
How many responses have you gotten?
8 so far. Good. So thank you all.
Okay. Anything else? Any other business? All right, I guess we're adjourned.
Yes.
What?
Is March going to be crazy?
March will be busy.
Oh, really?